Hey folks, hope you had a good Thanksgiving. You know who didn't have an awesome Thanksgiving is this guy, Stuart Seldowitz. And that's because 2 days before Thanksgiving, a clip of old Stewie here, which we're going to watch about a minute of together, but let me set it up. But this clip of Stuart brutally harassing a 24-year-old street food vendor here in New York City was uploaded to Twitter by a woman that goes by Layla. I just happened to be on Twitter at the time and really caught the early wave of this story and got to ride it until the satisfying conclusion. So Layla posts this clip first. All of a sudden, it has a couple thousand views, and then a couple million views, and then it had 3 million views. And from where I was watching, around the 3 million view mark, people figured out who he was, Stuart Seldowitz. And this guy is not just some embittered, rotten old man on the Upper East Side that's being mean to everybody. This guy held significant power in the United States government for his whole career. He worked under W. Bush and then the whole Obama presidency, and he was the senior political officer in the U.S. State Department. This is one of those stories that after you see who Stuart really is, you get left with the feeling, these are the psychos that have power and are in charge. What are we gonna do? But let's watch about a minute of Stuart harassing the 24-year-old street vendor who's trying to make an honest living. You'll see the street vendor, he handles it, he keeps it professional way more than I would. But here we go. Stuart Seldowitz in his own words. He starts by threatening that he's going to sick his friends in immigration on the poor 24-year-old and that he's going to have his parents arrested in Egypt by the Mahammarat and they're going to pull his father's fingernails off one by one. I mean, just watch it. Here we go.
To my friends in immigration.
Okay, go, yeah.
And to the Egyptian, the Mukhabarat wants your picture.
Okay, yalla, go.
Yeah? You know the Mukhabarat? The Mukhabarat.
No, I don't know.
You don't know?
I just speak English.
No?
Yeah, go,
The
yalla.
Mukhabarat in Egypt will get...
The 24-year-old's just saying, just please go, go. And that becomes a theme. Just please go. What are you doing? Just go.
Your parents.
Go.
Does your father like his fingernails? They'll take them out one by one.
Look at the sneer on that man's face after he tells him he's going to have his father's fingernails ripped off.
Yalla, روح منين? Yalla, go.
Why should I go? Why should I go? Tell me why I should go. I'm standing here. I'm an American. I have free. It's a free country. It's not like Egypt. It's far from me.
We'll just stop it there. He's taking a picture of him, telling him to smile. And then, as this clip is going viral, another one of Stuart harassing the same food vendor pops up. And then another one. And then I think even another one. And one of them, during this exact same type of thing, a construction worker comes over and tells Stuart, hey man, why don't you just leave this dude alone? What are you doing? And Stuart's doing the same old, why? Why should I leave? I can do whatever I want. And then there's another clip, unbelievably, of Stuart doing the same thing to a woman Russian diplomat, calling her a criminal. And then I haven't seen it, but allegedly there's a clip of Stuart here harassing a dog. I mean, cartoonishly evil stuff from Stuart Seldowitz. And the fact that he held legitimate power should send chills up your spine. But I'm going to flip you around now and let's talk about this story a little bit more. All right, so as I'm watching this story blow up on Twitter, I keep Googling Stuart's name and clicking on the news tab to see if any news publications have picked up on it and done a story, and for hours and hours, there's nothing. So I'm sitting there thinking, there's a good chance that 64-year-old Stuart isn't on Twitter and isn't really online and has no idea that his little pathetic life of heading out and harassing food vendors and harassing dogs is on display for the world. There's a chance that he doesn't know his life is permanently different as of this day. And so I was thinking I should call him and let him know. Maybe I could get his first statement. I've really wanted an exclusive first statement on this show for a really long time, and I was thinking this could be the one. I caught the wave of the story pretty early. No big news stories seem to know about it yet. Let me call Stuart and see if he wants to make a statement. So with a little bit of Googling, I easily found his address and a couple phone numbers. I tried the phone numbers and nothing. It didn't work. So then I was sitting there thinking, I know from my dog walking days up in the neighborhood Stuart lives in that all of those buildings have door guys, and door guys don't love to take a message, but they will do it. So I found the number for the front desk of his building, and I called up and I said, hello, I'm a reporter from TCL USA, and I was wondering if I could leave a message for Stuart Seldowitz in apartment, and I said his apartment. And the door guy goes, well, I'm not a receptionist, but I guess I could do it. And I was like, yeah, I know, I'm sorry about that. And then I go, all right, Stuart right this second, in the past couple hours, has had a video go totally viral on Twitter of him brutally harassing a street vendor about a block from your guys' building. And as soon as I said that, the door guy's tone totally changed. You would have thought we were old bros catching up with an interesting story. He goes, wait, what? And I go, yeah, right now on Twitter, Stuart, there's a clip of him harassing this food vendor, and then another clip popped up where it's obviously a different day, he's wearing different clothes, and then another one, and the whole thing is going berserk right now on Twitter. And I'm not calling to harass him. I just wanted to know if he wanted to make a statement, and like I said, I'm a reporter for TCL USA. And you could hear another door guy come over and go, what is going on? And they're going, okay, where is it on Twitter? And I'm going, okay, search Layla, or another Twitter user named Low Key Online is also posting about it. And they're like, all right, hold on a second. And you can hear the guy that's not actually on the phone that's next to him is going, maybe that's why he didn't answer his phone. So I think the door guys sensed something was crazy was happening with Stuart. Maybe someone came up to the building and asked if Stuart was around for comment. Something was going on, and these door guys were going, what the hell is going on? And then once I called them, you could tell the energy was, this has got to be it. So I left my real name and phone number. Stuart didn't call, which I didn't think he was, but I figured even him coming back to his building and his door guy handing him the message would have to be kind of a terrible feeling. And also, he did end up giving his first statement to the Daily Beast, which isn't, it's not like I lost out to like the big mainstream media or something. So I think that there was a chance. But anyway, I told the door guys, and then it was really a snowball effect from there. The small publications picked up on it, and then the middle-sized publications picked up on it, and now it's full-blown mainstream. CNN, Fox News, New York Times have picked up on it. And then the next day, Stuart Seldowitz was arrested, and they bring him out of his building, and there's all the flashes from the photography, and everyone, do you have a comment, Stuart? And he looks totally stunned, and he can't believe that he flushed his life and reputation and the whole thing down the toilet for his stupid harassment routine that he goes out and does. And then also, embarrassingly, he skipped a button down by his belly button. So in his arrest footage, he's walking out, and you can see his belly button, and the whole thing was just really satisfying to see him escorted out of his building and just realize really what he did to himself was an extremely satisfying conclusion. And now he's facing up to a year in Rikers Island. And just looking at Stu, he's not cut out for Rikers Island. I don't think he'll actually do any time, but even just to have that in your head, a year at Rikers Island. You got a number of charges: stalking while at employment, harassing while at employment, and that's the one. I didn't even know it had a name for it, but harassing at employment makes me as mad as a lot of, any of these stories. For some reason, that if I can tell somebody is taking advantage that someone else is at work and has to be professional and doesn't want any trouble and just wants to get through their day at work and make an honest living, if I can tell somebody is taking advantage of that, like Stuart wouldn't have said what he says to someone just walking down the street. He would have got his old head slapped around. But he knows this food vendor, who's also a lot smaller, they showed a picture of the food vendor. He's a small guy, and Stuart seems to be a pretty big guy. The two guys that arrested him, Stuart towers over them. So he's picking a smaller man who's at work, that doesn't want any trouble, that's trying to make an honest living, to do his little harassment routine to. And the story that pops up, I have a really hard time biting my tongue if I see that situation. And years ago, during my dog walking days, I was in the same exact neighborhood that Stuart lives in. There's a lot of old money and just old, grumpy, rotten people up in that neighborhood. But I go into a Starbucks. It's the dead of winter. I have my puffy down coat on with the hood. There's only a couple days a year that's cold enough where I live where I walked into the Starbucks and it was so cold outside. I was like, you know what? I want to leave my hood on. It's just so cold. So I have my puffy coat on with the hood up. I'm waiting in line to get coffee. And the guy in front of me starts doing pretty much what Stuart was doing to the food vendor, to the cashier at Starbucks, was just saying stuff. And then another Starbucks worker, a woman, said something over to the right. And he said something just awful to her. And I said, you're being mean to the coffee people. There's something not right, something that you're not happy with in your life, and you're taking it out on the coffee people. You would never say this to this man out on the street. You know he's working. This is pathetic. And the guy said, quote, "You're probably from Jersey, aren't you?" And I was like, exactly. You got nothing to say. And that's when he grabbed his hot coffee, which had just been set on the table in front of him. He grabbed the hot coffee and motioned like he was going to throw it on me. I turned and also took a couple steps away from him. But I turned, but I had enough time to think, man, if I get hot coffee thrown on me right now, it's like the best day of the year. I have my thick down coat on with the hood up. My whole neck is covered, my whole back. I probably would have just felt the pitter patter of the coffee hitting the nylon. And I don't even know if I would have felt the heat. But I had time to think, all right, so if you're going to get hot coffee thrown at you, this isn't the worst moment to do it. But he didn't do it. He just faked it. And then he said a couple more things. And I just kept saying, be nice to people, be nice to people. But I have a really hard time holding my tongue in those moments when someone like Stuart is doing their thing. It's like, this person is working. What are you doing? Well, I think that's it. I guess we could end with watching Stuart. I'll flip you back around. We'll end with Stuart being escorted in handcuffs out of his building. Think about Thanksgiving at the Seldowitz residence. He wasn't wearing a wedding ring, so I don't know if he's married, but he did mention that he has kids in one of the clips. So, I just picture his kids being like, "So you're just an embittered loser, Dad? Are you kidding me? This is what you go out and do every day? Why don't you get a hobby or something? You are a rotten, evil old man, Dad, and now I just don't really even want to spend Thanksgiving with you." I'm sure that it wasn't the best Thanksgiving for old Stuart, but I'm going to cut it off there. We'll watch the clip of him being escorted out of his building. I'll see you next time. Why? Stiving why. All right, folks, here he is, the day before Thanksgiving when everyone's getting ready to have a nice vacation and hang out with the family. This is what Stuart's doing.
Do you stand by what you said?
See, look, you forgot this button, you putz. But anyway, there it is, folks. What a loser. I'll see you next time.